KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by
Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
Today on The Hub, our Nestor Leconto chats it up with two Senator-elect Democrats who earned a seat in the 37th Guam legislature. Dwayne Nicolas and Roy Quinata share what their first order of business is once sworn in and how they're ready to work for the people of Guam.
Howdy everyone, and welcome to The Hub. I'm Nestor Leconto. Thanks for joining us. This week, I'd like to welcome our guests. They are Senators-elect Roy Quinata and Dwayne Nicolas. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having us, Justin.
Have you guys recovered already?
Working on recovery.
Yeah, still waking up at 5 o'clock to wave thank you in the morning, and still trailing ahead. Got to give thanks.
Still in the dream state.
Let me just ask you guys, what was your reaction when you finally found out that you were going to be members of the 37th Guam Legislature? Roy, let me start with you.
Well, definitely I wanted to give thanks to God, family, and friends. Definitely it was a very eventful and exhausting trail. But, if you really want it, you got to go get it yourself, right? And I'm very hopeful to represent the people of Guam, especially the ones that voted for me. We continue to be thankful for each and every one of them.
And Dwayne, what was your reaction?
Oh, my reaction. Remember, I started at 16, so my reaction from the beginning was, I was kind of a little worried there, but I said, it's okay. And then I told my wife, let's go read it. And then they were calling us at 2 a.m. Hey, a lot of stuff has changed since. Wake up! But it was very surprising, and I really very appreciative of the people's trust, and if you allow me the time, I really am very thankful and humble. Thank you.
Yeah, you two are a little bit rare in that you both made it in on your first try. There are other senators, or other candidates rather, that have tried multiple times and have never got in, and there are other senators who may have tried 2 or 3 times before they got in. So, Dwayne, let me start with you. What was your secret to campaigning? How'd you do it?
I don't know. I just I feel like I'm just a Forrest Gump. I'm living the life. Just open yourself to all possibilities and just see and everything just fell into place. I actually I'm just a happy guy and just want to make good things happen. We started with our little business and everything, and so that's how I think it materialized. We got very popular with people, with our solar lights and whatnot, and our giant teddy bears, and so I think people remember that, and that's how we were able to pull through.
Did you go around knocking on doors, or did you attend pocket meetings?
We attended a lot of pocket meetings. I didn't really go door to door, but what I did was, we advertised, that was definitely one of the things, and then also social media really helped us out, and then also KUAM, we advertised here almost every night from the primary. When after the primary, you looked at the numbers, it was really tough. I was like, oh my goodness, this is a tough fight for so we really ramped it up. We put our signs out there. My wife, we worked really hard. Mr. Ben and just about everybody out there worked really hard to get us here, and that's how we got here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Roy, tell us a little bit about your strategy.
I think my strategy is since I think we share the same sentiment in regards to being young politicians. I mean, growing up in high school and middle school, I already had the nickname of senator, governor, and whatnot.
Same here.
So, proud alumni of Simon Sanchez, proud Islander. So our island custom is to take care of each other, right? We're very hospitable people, especially having a name that hails from the South, Quinata. Southern hospitality is unmatched. So I know that the campaign trail has been very expensive. We all know that it's a testament to how expensive life can be. It's just try media spotlights. It's very expensive. It adds up. So my strategy was put big signs and make sure people remember your face and your name, and that was the goal. And, just be genuine with people, ask for their vote. That's all you can ask. And, you do your best and represent the people that trusted you to do good for the people and not just your own self-interest. So I'm hopeful to represent the island and make our island better for everyone and rebuild our economy and start with my platform, housing, economic development, economy, and land.
Yeah, actually, the signs was a good strategy because that's a lot of people recognize you from those signs, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the greatest, I guess, gifts from having big signs is all the kids remembering me. I go to Home Depot quite often, and it's like the murmurs of these kids. You can pick it up like, oh my God, that's the guy on that sign. That's Roy Quinata or Roy Quinata. They're not really good with the speech, but they got the Roy down.
Yeah, and that's one of the keys, right? To
how effective that sign was? Right? My father-in-law arrived from Arizona, saw his signs up and down Marine Drive. By the time he came to a party, he already knew Roy. just having his presence out there was, that was enough.
You gotta connect the name and the face, right? That's the first thing that you got to get accomplished, right? So when you guys were out there talking to people, what did you find was the most common concern that they brought to you? Let's start with you, Dwayne.
Me, well, first of all, I think most of the people that I've spoken to spoke to me about honesty. They just want honesty from their leaders, and that's easy for me because that's one of that's one of my campaign platforms. It was pretty simple. It was honesty, compassion, and kindness, and a lot of people were talking to me about just being honest. And then the second one is the crime and the methamphetamine problem, and also the economy. So in that order.
Yeah. How about you, Roy?
Yeah, I think a lot of the biggest concerns was leaders with integrity and having new faces in there. And more opportunities for our people. A lot of people are leaving our island because there's not enough opportunities for them to grow here. The minimum wage with inflation is just not helping make anyone's lives better. So we definitely need to work on those issues, and hopefully we can work on those inaugurated.
Yeah, you mentioned crime, Dwayne. How in particular would you attack that issue? Because a lot of it kind of stems, I think the conventional wisdom is that a lot of the crime stems from our drug abuse crisis, right?
And I guess I did see a lot of this as a school counselor. That's why when I did go out to talk to people, I said, most of my platform is based on being a school counselor and actually seeing the effects on our people. And so I made a commitment that sometimes you don't always have to have legislation. Sometimes you just need to be there. So I'm going to take it upon myself to visit schools and be out there and show presence and remind people to remain drug free, especially our kids, to not do it. So right now I'm preparing ourselves for the future, and I want to tackle them there with the drug problem to make sure that they get the message. Not to be drug-free. Stay drug-free.
Roy, do you have any ideas about attacking the drug crisis?
I think if we invest more into our ports of entry, and we have more drug dogs and handlers, then we can actually capture more data, and the data will also drive more efficient response towards those things. I mean, obviously the drug epidemic is very serious on our island, but I also think it starts at home. A lot of people need to take back their brothers and sisters and really try to, remodel them as citizens and bring them back home. A lot of them just get lost, and they need a little bit of love and faith back instilled into them, and that's something that the family needs to help them with. It's a very personal issue, and it's gonna take time. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Senators-elect Roy Quinata and Dwayne Nicolas right after this.
I can't make that amount work right now.
Mom,
what is it?
Can I get new basketball shoes?
We'll see.
Can I please have $20 for my field trip? I don't know.
Can I go to my friend's house after school?
Anak, hindi pwede.
We're all trying our best to make ends meet. The governor's child care programs are helping businesses and working families care for Guam's kids. This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Visit guamchildcare.com to apply today.
All right, we're back with the Hub, and we'll continue our conversation with Senators-elect Dwayne Nicolas and Roy Quinata. Wanted to talk a little bit more about these pressing issues. Crime was one. The economy, inflation, high cost of living, that's definitely right up there. Probably 1A. Roy, what can we do heading into 23 when it potentially could be a tough economic year?
I think we really need to revisit the pay raise for the minimum income bracket. You know, a lot of things have gone up, and everything will continue to go up as our economy revives itself. You know, the Guam's economy is based off two economic pillars, which is the military buildup, which has been flourishing and has been very much fruitful. But at this time, we've noticed that the tourism market is definitely taking a crash off the cliff. Unfortunately, Two Lovers Point is right there. So I think we really need to get our economy back on board and, you know, heal our island through our economy and economic diversification and development. So I really want to invest in more economic opportunities and help our island heal our economy as a whole.
Let me dig deeper into, you're proposing that you would propose then a further increase to the minimum wage, or increase?
Correct.
How would you go about doing that, in increments, or to raise it to how high?
I think we just maybe it's time to just increase it another $1. I know the private businesses are gonna stress it that there's not enough money, but the people are hurting. We're gonna feel it across the board, and especially in the business community, they're gonna feel it too. And as our people are suffering, the businesses are gonna suffer too a little bit. I mean, the economy is is not there, and a lot of people at the home front are suffering. And we just need to take care of each other. And I think that's the best way, is when we have more money circulating in the economy locally, not purchasing on Amazon or, you know, foreign sites, then our local economy will thrive. But if we keep purchasing stuff off island, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to have a better economy if all the money is circulating off island. So, you know, I want to also increase buy local, support local operations, especially with the small businesses. We got to help them out, because that's the only way our economy is going to thrive, is the backbone of our small business community.
Okay, so we've got one proposed bill from Roy. Dwayne, what are you looking at in terms of helping out with the economy and inflation, high cost of living?
Well, the inflation thing, you know, it's very tough, you know, to deal with inflation, because we're left at the mercy of the outside forces that actually do control inflation. But I do know that inflation is growing, because, you know, Social Security actually, they bump up Social Security, you know, with a rate of inflation for the previous year. So it has really grown. One of the things that I wanted to do to grow the economy was to try to figure out a way to encourage more military outside spending outside, you know, with our service members, encouraging them to come out and purchase, you know, outside the wire. I was in the military too, so, you know, I know how being far away from the mainland and ordering through Amazon and all that stuff, yes, that's great. But remember, I didn't make it it was no secret that I ran to legalize consumer grade fireworks. So I wanted to try to figure out a way where we could create maybe another industry or another way to capture tax money through the sale of fireworks. And also that would encourage more military people to come out and buy outside. You know, imagine I'm going to go hunting, I'm going to go outside and purchase a 6-pack and pick up some bottle rockets, you know, or something, so they could play with the kids. I think that's a great strategy. We do have a large amount of our military folks coming over here. That's a plus, unbelievable. You know, in order for us to grow the economy, you need a population to do that with. You know, you need a growing population, and I think that's a plus that they're coming, and we need to encourage them to shop outside.
Okay. You mentioned the military. That's a good segue into my next question. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on military-civilian relationships relations, particularly because the military is going to be spending a ton of money. Probably, the admiral said up to $2 billion a year for the next 6 or 7 years. So we got to be nice to DoD, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you know, I mean, we my sentiments were that sometimes we think of ourselves as us and them, and we got to get away from that mentality. You know, those are our family. There are relatives in there. You know, there are sons and daughters, and we need to bridge. You know, and show them that we're the same. That military inside that gate is my military. That's my army. That's my navy. Those are my people. So we need to look at them that way. And you know, it's not us against them. And I remember when I was a child, there was a lady named CB Betty. I don't even remember CB Betty, and she was like a surrogate to our military members. Who, I mean, they just loved her, and she got an award, and I think they have a plaque of her and somewhere in California. And no other civilian was ever given that award but her, and I think it was John Wayne. So I mean, she did really leave an impact, and I think we need to encourage more people to think that way. And encourage our military family members to come outside, shop, and this is America, you know, and I want everybody to know that, embrace that, and this is our way forward.
Roy, what sort of military civilian issues will you be staying on top of as a member of the 37th legislature?
Yeah, definitely can echo the same sentiments. I appreciate my U.S. citizenship. I support the build-up. But we need to make sure that our citizens and our military partners are being accounted for, and that the buildup is not only happening inside the gate, but outside the gate. You know, again, this is a position we need to take as a whole and as a community, that we cannot be successful unless we together thrive, right? So if we want to see our economy thrive, we got to work hand in hand with our military. You know, and another situation I think that's always always marked with the military is that our status as a citizens, right? We really need to look at that. An example, this table, we cannot say anything. If you don't have a seat at the table, then we're just on the table. So we got to work with our DC reps and work on having our items and our agenda addressed moving forward, because we are the tip of the spear. We are always going to have a Pacific Theater position, and I think we just got to work with Uncle Sam and those officials in DC. So congratulations to Congressman Jim Moylan. We look forward to working with him in the new 37th legislature.
One of the other issues that's related to the military is local housing. A lot of realtors will tell you, or just residents in general will say that you know, the military and their housing allowance kind of skews the local market for you know, the locals. What are your thoughts on that, Dwayne, and how can that be mitigated?
Somebody from the realtor mentioned this to me. You know, the one way to stem the rising costs of housing here is to build more houses. You know, you have a larger supply. You know, the cost comes down. But you know, that could be the same. Can be said the same with with EBT. You know, I think EBT does the same also with keeping goods, you know, on the shelves high. You know, when businesses know that, you know, they don't really worry too much about it. They just walk in and are able to purchase a case of anything. You know, they could really just keep the prices artificially high, because you got these group of people who are getting subsidies and just go in and buy whatever they want. You know. And so I think, you know, when you're talking about the military housing market, I think that's the same could be true about also the EBT, you know, how that works.
All right.
It's like almost the same.
Roy, any thoughts on affordable housing issues?
Thank you for that question. That's my platform, housing, economic development, accountability, and land, and it spells HEAL on the acronym on the far left. So, you know, again, the military buildup needs to be not only outside the gate, but inside the gate. And I think the realty groups and the contractors are definitely flourishing with the military buildup. But, you know, it's just not affordable for our general population. A lot of people in our island are low to minimum income housing bracket. And the federal position is always going to be that there's a low income bracket that needs to be met. So I hope that now that I'm elected and will be coming in the 37th legislature, is to establish a median housing income bracket that would not only help but also facilitate independent housing, because there's a lot of programs out there for the low income families, but a lot of our median income housing programs are just you're 1 penny over, 1 penny less, and it's very unfortunate. A lot of people lose hope, and that's why a lot of them migrate to the stateside. So I hope to establish programs that can help the median housing income that can have home independence, because a lot of people in my generation can't even afford to have a studio that's 20 by 20 because it's just sad. Our housing market, it is geared to the military allowance, so we're not trying to dwarf the housing market in any sense with the realty groups, but the profit is there and they're just not focused on the general population, I think.
All right, we're going to take another short break and be back with more of our conversation on the Hub. Don't go away.
There's epic, then there's ultra epic. Capture life in vivid resolution with Galaxy's most advanced camera system and the built-in S Pen that puts you in control. Every moment, every angle, from sunrise to sundown and beyond. More striking, more stunning than ever. Find the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra at your nearest iTunes store or online at ite.net and change the way you work and play.
The most tempting part of your week is guaranteed to be Subway and Chili's Lunchbox Hours. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Breeze 93.9 FM. Catch the greatest hits of your lifetime from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s while you grub on a mouth-watering Subway footlong sandwich or tantalizing flavors you love from Chili's. Your Lunchbox Hours brought to you by Subway and Chili's.
All right, welcome back to the Hub and our conversations with Senators-elect Dwayne Nicolas and Roy Quinata. And when you guys are, as I mentioned earlier, unique in that you both got in on your first try. What are your expectations for as a newbie in the legislature in dealing with your colleagues? Because as both are Democrats, you will be part of the majority in the legislature. What's your expectation, Dwayne?
Well, I'm a people person, so I'm hoping that they'll work well with me. I know everybody has their own agenda and other things, but I'm very open. I'm very honest. I know I only have 2 years. I'm not here to make a career out of this. There's certain things that I want to address, and I want to address them honestly and through the eyes of compassion, and I hope that they can see that as well and help me push my agenda as well through the legislature, because I really want to do what is best for our island, and I want to make Guam a happy place to live.
All right, Roy, your expectations?
I'm thankful and blessed for again the opportunity to serve the people, and I think we just need to remember that once inaugurated, party doesn't matter. We work for everyone, yes, and whether they be Republican, Democrat, Independent, white, black, gay, lesbian, we work for them, and we also work for ourselves because we are taxpayers, and we just need to do the very best we can and serve with integrity and honesty, because that's what the people really want, is leaders that are going to be serving with integrity and honesty. We cannot fix everything. We're not going to be able to accomplish everything in 2 years, and we're just going to do our very best and hope for the best, and rebuild our economy and work together with our colleagues. Yep. Republican or Democrat, female or male, we just got to work together. That's the only way we're going to thrive, is if we together thrive.
But in the legislature, though, party does matter.
Yes.
You will be a part of the majority party, so you will get a chairmanship. What committees will you be vying for?
Well, I think my platform is very specific to housing, economic development, accountability, and land. So I'm hopeful to get probably GURA, GITA, public auditor, and ethics. Accountability is really a big issue that a lot of our people really want to see, right? And land, I continue to echo the sentiments of the late Angel Sanchez, that generations will come, generations will go, but if the generation today does not have the courage or the strength to face those challenges, then the next generation will inherit those same challenges and struggles. So, that's where land came in. It's a 26-year-old issue, and I'm hopeful to work on some policy to get that thing finally moving forward, because it makes no sense. The wait list is since December of 1996. I was born in July of 1996. So you mean to tell me we have 26-year-old issues that are not solved? We got to work on that. We got to get it moving forward.
Yeah. Dwayne, what committees would you be going for?
Well, I'm in the private sector. I was a customs officer and also a school counselor. So any one of those, but everybody from customs saying, "Hey, pick up customs." So I said, okay, if that comes my way, I'll do that.
Yeah. So the way it works, right? You guys are going to lock yourselves in a room in a caucus, first Democratic caucus in the legislature, 37th Guam legislature, and you're going to go around to your colleagues who are all senior from you and say, okay, this is a committee I want, what committee you want. So there's going to be a lot of horse trading. How do you plan to handle that? Will you defer to your more senior colleagues?
Oh, I think we're just going to have more horses in our cabin. Just give each other horses, and I think we're gonna have to find some common ground at some point, right? I just hope we're not deliberating the speakership and leadership at midnight or 3 hours before the inauguration, right? We saw that last election, so I'm very much hopeful that we get people in the room and get it done and over with before the inaugural day.
Yeah. What would sway you, and how would you try to sway your colleague? And if you're doing this horse trading for a committee chairmanship that you particularly want?
That's just it. You're just gonna probably have to swap each other's oversights. I'm really forward on housing, economic development, economy, and land. So if for say we get cards or post-its of what our options are, and then you pull it, I think it's called zonk, just get positions on these things and whatnot, and you just pull it, and then maybe that's the option. So you get land, you have land, give me land and I'll give you whatever I have. Maybe I have GVB. You want GVB? Here's GVB, right? Because definitely we just have to see what everyone has and put all our cards on the table and try to make ends meet with whatever we have. If the agency is given to me, the agency is given to me. I'm going to do my very best to ensure that the agency thrives under my oversight, and work with my colleagues either way.
Yeah, Dwayne, how would you handle caucus as a rookie in the discussion over committee
thanks for pointing that out. I'm a rookie. I am still learning. So I hope the people of Guam understand and be a little bit patient with me. But I want them to understand that whatever does materialize out of this, and whatever committees that I be able to chair, that I would have the best interest at heart for the people.
Sure. And just so you two know, you should share whatever you say in caucus with us, okay?
Sure. I'll just bring this mic in with me.
We're gonna take one more break and be back to close out the show. Don't go away.
Pacific Points is more rewarding with friends. From now until December 31st, get 300 bonus points for every friend you refer. Friends will enjoy awesome rewards like free shelf fuel, rebates on your IT&E bills, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. Plus, earn more points to upgrade your membership tier and enjoy even more exclusive rewards. Learn more at PacificPoints.com or download the app. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Ega emisal las 9:30 cada domingo gidos en nombre de María Catiro Basilica, de estación KUAM Communications. Sanatan scheduling prestigia sa Cinematulaika sa live broadcasts.
All right, welcome back, everybody. You've been watching The Hub, but we're out of time. We'd like to thank our guests for the show. Senators-elect Dwayne Nicolas and Roy Quinata. Best of luck in the 37th Guam Legislature, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, KUAM.
Everyone, for welcoming us here.
Thank you, everybody.
And thank you to the ladies and gentlemen out there and all the kids out there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, and I thank you for watching. We'll see you again next week on The Hub.
Thank you.